All right, everyone, we are live. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. Welcome to our ongoing Mind Matrix Partner Webinar series. I'm Akash. I lead go to market strategy at Mind Matrix, and I'll be your host today. So, over the next 30 minutes, we are going to discuss a topic on how vendors can generate demand with and through their channel partners, and to share some of the key insights, challenges, and key strategies around demand gen with your partners. We are really excited to have Mariah Rockwood from Market Logic, who brings a very extensive experience in overall B2B marketing strategy. And we have our very own Travis Newton, who works with some of the key existing accounts and leads Mind Matrix services. So before we take a deep dive into our topic, let's have a quick intro from Mariah and then Travis. Over to you, Mariah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Akash. Appreciate the intro and super excited to be here in this web series. Love watching it every single week and then just being able to talk about channel marketing. That's my salsa, I guess is what you can call it. Here at Market Logic, I wear multiple hats. Manage accounts, I work with clients, but most recently I've been doing a lot more of the partner marketing, working on the growth strategist side, trying to just meet new partners, kind of bring it forward into our current clients, bringing them new technologies such as Mind Matrix, right? We have a really good partnership with you guys in that ecosystem sphere. And essentially just making sure that their campaigns are optimized, that they're reaching their partners, that they're getting the right communications out, and just ensuring that they can, at the end of the day, increase demand generation.
Awesome. Travis.
Yep, thanks, Akash. Happy to be here as well. Yeah, my name is Travis Newton. I'm the Global Account Executive here at Mind Matrix. And what that entails is essentially is twofolded. The first part is I act as the account manager for most of our key and global accounts within our PRM and partner marketing space. And on top of that, I'm also heading the services division here at Mind Matrix, where we're working with the Market Logic team. Mind Matrix has always been known as a software first company, and we're looking to keep that software first, but also have services second. We're putting in a lot of really great work, both on our side and with the Market Logic team. So so that's pretty much what we're doing here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Travis and Mariah. So, just to kickstart on our topic, I think we will all agree that most of the vendors are trying to activate most of their existing partners. And one of the key objectives of partner marketing and partner ops team is how they can generate a continuous flow of demand and create a very consistent and predictable partner pipeline. So, Mariah, I think, what do you think? What are some uh, key parameters, or I would say vendors' priorities when it comes to demand generation within channel?
Yeah, definitely. So I think some of the key priorities, apart from trying to increase sales, right, is to understand the unique solutions and the sales strategies of your partners. I know this can be a bit daunting because many have not just 10 or 20 partners. There could be hundreds and maybe even thousands of partners. But taking that time to dedicate understanding what is their sales story, right? What is their storytelling? What are they offering to their customers? By understanding that, you can provide more flexible and customizable funding that can actually increase demand generation, increase marketing activities, and essentially just improve your overall relationship with your partners. And this doesn't just have to be MDFs, it can be BDFs, it could be in-kind funds, right? Any of that to kind of increase the marketing campaigns and just make it more impactful. And then I think some of the three key priorities that should be focused on when it comes to doing that is going to be through thought leadership content. We've seen that it's really big in the sphere, right? Having people come in on talks. It's going to be leveraging data tools like a PRM, like Mind Matrix,
Yeah.
right? So you get that data driven. That's all we hear about in this sphere these days. It's just data, data, data.
True.
And then it's also going to be partnering with marketing agencies, right? Maybe you don't have the resources to provide a marketing agency to every single one of your partners, and maybe they don't have an in-house one, right? So that should be a key priority for getting some effective support.
Awesome. So I think you really touched some gold nuggets that vendors should be doing. But let's take a step back, and I think creating a consistent pipeline through an effective partner-driven demand gen strategy is not an easy task, especially when we look at ongoing economic downturns, changing partner priorities, and the conflict between vendors and partners. So what do you think, Mariah? I mean, what are the key challenges from the vendor side that they are facing when they go ahead and try to run their demand gen strategies?
I think MindMatrix did a really good job of identifying the 5 common or the 5 main challenges that pop up, right? One that we touched on was skill and resource constraints.
Yeah.
For instance, maybe the sales team hasn't received training in a while, or we know that sales have a high turnover, so maybe they have some new faces that just don't know your solution, right? So that can cause a challenge, especially when it comes to pushing a new product or pushing a solution that they're just not aware of or not trained on. Another one is just ineffective content strategies, right? Maybe you're doing a one size fits all for your partners and you're saying, okay, everybody's going to push this email blast and you're not
Yeah.
catering the message to their specific audiences, right? That's going to create a disconnect and create missed opportunities. Next up, the other one that was identified was the ineffective partner communication strategies. This kind of ties into the past one. If you don't have the right content, you're not going to have the right communication,
100%.
right? Exactly. They go hand in hand in that sense.
Agreed.
Following up is just the failure to understand your partner solution and their ICP, right? You may have a certain story that you're telling, but maybe your partners are telling a different one. And if you're pushing content that's not aligned with what their story is, their ICPs aren't going to care and it's not going to resonate with them when they go to purchase. And then last but not least was just understanding your partner marketing data. Data is so important, whether it's good or bad, right? We all want to have a successful campaign, but sometimes it's good to know what failed and why it failed and how you can optimize it in the future.
Yeah. So I think you really touched on some really good point. I want to bring a real case example. I was having lately I was having a discussion with one of the channel marketing lead at a very large manufacturing company, and while having that discussion, I found that not able to understand your partner's ideal customer profiles and their existing portfolio, along with consolidating and analyzing all your partner marketing campaign data, are becoming critical when in order to optimize your B2B marketing strategies, and especially from the demand gen perspective. So do you also see this emerging trend when you go and talk to a lot of vendors that you work with?
Almost definitely. I mean, oftentimes they have their top partners that are selling, right? They're active partners, so to speak, maybe because the messaging actually aligns. But if you take a look at the background, they actually have a lot of partners who maybe are inactive or not in their top tiers. And that's not because they're not selling, it's because the strategies aren't aligning with what they are successful in. Right. And you only have so much time in the world too. I mean, maybe you have a really great messaging, but you can't reach out to every single partner to stay on top of them, which is why you implement these different tools to do that messaging strategy for you.
Yeah. Travis, are you also seeing these are the prevalent challenges that vendors are facing when it comes to running their partner marketing campaign?
Yeah, I complete 100% agree 100% with Mariah. And the big thing I always say is, keep it simple. There's 1,000 things you can do, but I'd rather do 10 things correctly than 1,000 things incorrectly, especially where you get to the instance where it's not just your marketing, you're adding in a partner to market on your behalf. So it's always important to, not try and be a revolutionary in the marketing
Yeah.
space. If you can do the basic things correctly, you're going to find more success than going out there and trying to be an advanced marketer. You have to rely on your partners. So make it easy for them, make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. So I know Mariah and Travis, you touched upon the common prevalent challenges, and I think we also discussed some of the key emerging trends that are coming up within partner marketing sphere. So, what are the key strategies from your experience, Mariah, that you want to suggest to vendors that they should be taking into consideration while running a demand gen strategies with and through their channel partners?
Definitely. So some key strategies in this case are going to be, there's quite a lot that we came up with when we were doing this discussion. I'll try and skim through it the best that I can. But to begin with, it's going to be identifying successful sales strategies that your partners are already doing, right? They're your partners for a reason, right? You didn't just select them and say, okay, good luck, right? They already know how to enter into the market. They already know how to resonate with their audience. So you need to leverage that, right? You're not going to push a Google search campaign with a partner who's doing better on Meta, right? In that kind of sense. Next up is going to be just making flexible and customizable funds. Like we mentioned, a one-size-fits-all box does not work, right? And
Yeah.
if you're creating constraints, it makes it even harder for your partners to access these funds to push your solutions through. Up next is going to be promoting thought leadership content. I'm sure you guys are either super excited about it or tired of hearing about it, but it's just the way it is. We have all heard of doom scrolling. I'm sure, everybody's on their phone, everybody's watching TikToks or Instagram or even on LinkedIn now, right? But the importance of pushing out that content that resonates, that's knowledgeable, that's informative can actually go a long way.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be with using the data-driven tools. Like I mentioned before, whether it's good or bad, you want to know what's working and what's not working and how to optimize it. And that could be done with a PRM, it could be done with your CRM, right? Whatever it is that you're using to identify where the funds are going and what's being pushed out and the numbers that are coming through, it's really important to have those analytics on hand.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be partnering, and maybe this sounds like I'm biased, but partnering with a marketing agency, right? Especially a marketing agency that works in the ecosystem, right? You don't want to go to one that only works on branding or only works on events. You want one that's a full service agency that really understands how to do the correct messaging. And like I mentioned, I mean, we've worked with IT vendors that are massive, but they're massive in the sense that they have their own internal agency, and that internal agency does not have time to go to every single partner and do design or copy or any of that nature, which is why, if you're using an internal agency, you can use a PRM that can streamline that communication for you, right? Or using a marketing agency that can make those caterings that are a little bit more tailored to your partners. Right, next would be just embracing account mapping and demand generation. I know it can sound that it's going to be a bit redundant or a bit tedious to sit there and truly understand who your audience is, going through and finding out who are the top people in the company, but believe me, it's worth it. And there's some really great tools out there that can help you do it. With AI, it can summarize all of the information of them for you, right? But really understanding who you're talking to is essential. Next, as we mentioned before, it's going to be leveraging influencer marketing and demand gen, right? Bringing in other people outside of your organization, pushing that through with your partners, whether you're doing a webinar or a web series,
Yeah.
right? Just getting out there with the information that's going to be beneficial and relevant. And then last but not least, it's going to be just investing in a robust partner marketing platform, right? Having that not only streamlines your communication, not only gives you data-driven results, right, but it keeps you top of mind with your partners in a way that's easy for them to use and just makes their life so much easier in facilitating their marketing campaigns.
Wow, there are a lot to unpack. Maybe I need to create a list and share with all the audience because they may lose track while listening to you. So, but really solid points. I want to come back and circle back on one of the best strategy that you mentioned, that how vendors can go ahead and collaborate with third party agencies, because one of the trends that we are internally at Mind Matrix are seeing, where those vendors, when they buy a partner marketing platform like Mind Matrix, and after implementing and they come back and complain, hey, I'm not able to do what I expected or anticipated to do from the platform. And when we go back and do the root cause analysis, we most of the time we find that the vendor who has implemented the platform, they're not really clear that how they are going to utilize the platform, what are the best practices to run partner marketing campaign, and whether they have the right resources, time to create contents. Because if you don't have clear path, don't have clear partner marketing execution plan or content, any platform will do no good. So this is where I think before investing to any partner marketing platform, we always recommend to go back one step back and see whether you have those processes or pieces that stitch everything together, and then you implement a platform that will help you run all your partner marketing campaign. And this is where third-party agency come in to fill the gap between vendors and partners. So I'm glad you touched that topic. Travis, on the strategy side, do you also see the strategy will work for vendors, which Mariah mentioned?
Yeah, so and even just to add on top of what you were just discussing, Akash, I mean, it's extremely rare that a company in this space will be able to have the resources, the time, the energy, the the money
Yeah.
to be able to facilitate all of these demand gen activities that we've been discussing. And a lot of times their pride will get in the way when it comes to going to a third party agency. They'll want to try and figure out a way to do it themselves internally. And it really becomes their Achilles heel, is that they can't facilitate these things, and they're stuck in a platform where they have all of this content, they have all of this data, but they have nothing to do with it. They're not able to execute. They're not able to get the partners to buy in. So I'd say just, dropping the pride. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to work with another agency, especially if you're constricted by some of these other factors. That's really the big thing I notice is sometimes, you just have to ask for help. And there's plenty of companies that can help you and can really make a difference in your partner marketing with that agency assistance.
Agree, because it becomes quite imperative, because if we don't have an adoption plan from the partner side, they require constant nudging. They require someone who's going continuously after them and asking them to run all those activities from the platform, because they don't come to the platform to run those activities. Most of the time, vendors who have a partner, a very large ecosystem, after 6 months down the line, when they implement a solution, their partner don't even know there is a platform that exists.
It's just like a
So,
shiny new toy that gets lost in the toy
yeah,
box.
yeah. And this is where I think, as Travis mentioned, our vendors do not have to be shy enough to go out and seek external help.
Exactly. And I think that's an important touch point that you mentioned, Travis. It actually brings to mind an example. I was talking with a client. I was like, okay, well, how are you managing your partners? He's like, well, we have a CRM that we kind of makeshifted into a partner platform, but not even our internal team understands it. And I'm like, well, if your internal team doesn't understand it, how are your partners going to understand
Exactly.
it, right?
They're not.
You need to make it user. They're not. And then, if it's already hard enough to get them to use it 6 months down the line, they're never going to touch it. So yeah, definitely streamlining it, making it user friendly and as simple as possible is key.
Yeah. So going forward, but I want to pick your brain on just giving us some real definition or understanding among to, through, with, and for partner marketing campaigns, because I mean we are talking about when a lot of partners are getting involved in a deal or on one account, so it becomes quite critical to understand the nuances of each of these partner marketing strategies. So it would be really helpful for the audience if you can just share your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think distinguishing between the three, the two, the through, and the with could be its own type of webinar series, but I'll go ahead and touch base on it just a little bit. So essentially, it's important to distinguish them because that's going to affect the type of marketing strategy that you're pushing through and how you can tailor it to meet their specific needs and capabilities. Right. So for example, the two partner focuses more on communication that's direct with the partners. And then those partners are going to educate and inform the vendor about the solutions and just marketing strategies. And it's going to them just to inform them. The next type is with the through partner. That involves more of empowering your partners because they're actually going to have that contact with the end consumer, the end customer, however you want to call them, and just providing them with the necessary tools and content like we talked about before. And then with the with partner, this is going to involve just vendors conducting marketing activities as maybe what you would call co-marketing or co-collaboration, right? Essentially, they would do it on behalf of the partner. The partner just has to show up, stick their logo on, and then follow up the hot leads that come through. Travis, I don't know if you want to touch a little bit more on those three or expand a little bit more.
Yeah. So kind of expanding on all of them in general is it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can use multiple strategies within even one single campaign. There's a lot of different factors that can go into it. The partner's willingness to send a campaign, a bunch of different factors. So just kind of remembering that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be a mixture of multiple. It can be tailored to the specific partner type. So when you're looking at these, they're not generally exclusive. You really just have to understand when one is needed and when the other isn't.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, because I think if you have, let's say, a strategic alliances or system indicators, you might need to do co-marketing with them because they have their own brand presence and they may be larger than your own brand. So they definitely you need to have different tracks, as Travis mentioned, and you need to really find out who are the partners I'm going to just communicate on from the two perspective, and which set of partners I'm going to market together. So, and it's all about striking a balance with among all these four types of partner marketing strategies. And definitely one vendor can choose to go with all four parts that we have discussed, or just one where they are just selling solution to partners, and partners are taking care of everything. So this is where you need to strike a balance and understand the nuances of each of these platforms. Awesome. So I think one of the pieces I think we haven't discussed, Mariah, when it comes to demand gen, and especially in different geo or local market, is influencer marketing. I know you are one of the big influencers. So
Trying to be. I'm getting there.
yeah, yeah. So what do you think? I mean, how vendors should consider influencer marketing into their demand gen strategies? And I'm not seeing many vendors are doing that, but at on other hand, lot of companies and vendors are now trying to invest and take some funding from their existing marketing funds and investing into local demand gen strategies, where they are targeting some of the key influencers, creating a process around it, and then making sure their brand messaging is going through a proper channel. What's your thoughts on that?
So I definitely think influencer marketing is hard to sell simply because it's more of a brand awareness type of campaign, and brand awareness is still something that's, I mean, you can only capture so many impressions, so many views, so much engagement, right? And then trying to qualify all of that for the opportunities that come afterwards is really hard. Right? Simply because you're not going to sit there and say, the person's not going to sign and be like, oh yeah, I saw Travis from Mind Matrix 6 months ago when it caught my interest. So I decided to, learn a little bit more. They're not going to say that. But I definitely think that IT vendors need to harness this new type. Video is the way to go. And I'm not just saying that because we're on a video or I make videos, right? But we know that our attention spans are getting shorter. That's proven, right? And influencers are not just for TikTok and Instagram, they're going into the tech sphere as well when it comes as a form of communication, right? People now go to look something up that's quick and you want a 3-minute synapse of a whole month, right? So I definitely think IT vendors need to bring that forward.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you touched upon the attention span of the viewers or the audience. So do you see that the short form videos also should be considered by B2B vendors? It's not just to attract or entice B2C consumers, but do you also see that we should leverage this short form video form into B2B marketing strategy?
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people. Our attention spans are
Yeah.
the same, whether you're professional or in your personal life, right? Maybe if something's of interest to you, you will watch a longer video. It's more 3 to 5 minutes. But at the most part, you want something quick. You want something that's not going to take up too much time and something you can gain value from.
Yeah, got it. Uh, on one thing, I think you mentioned account mapping, and I've personally been using Reveal for more than 6-7 months to see the partner ecosystem intelligence at MindMatrix, and I still feel I talk to a lot of partnership leaders who are using these account mapping tools, and I still feel that there are a lot to happen, and there are various ways that they are not utilizing the platform the way they should be. So I would definitely like to emphasize on leveraging account mapping tools, because it's a great way of generating new prospects, because it brings all your your partner's existing data sets into one platform and lets you identify new prospects without spending a penny. So it's a great way of generating new partners, new prospects, and it ultimately helps you reduce the overall sales cycle, because based on a lot of industry data, we can see that when the partner is involved on any deal, your overall sales cycle gets reduced. So I would highly recommend utilizing this tool the way it should be. So you can go and check out these platforms and bring into your own demand gen strategies. Travis, uh, do you want to add anything to it on the account mapping side, or anything that Mariah mentioned so far?
I don't think so. You guys have covered it pretty well. I'm good there.
So
I
I
would like
think,
to touch on that account mapping though that you mentioned, Akash. I was
yeah,
actually at a summit back in April, and it was interesting to see how the buyer journey or customer journey, however you want to say, is changing. right? And the importance of using tools like Reveal shows that, right? It used to be like 75% sales and 25% marketing, and now it's 75% marketing and 25% sales.
Yeah.
And using those kind of tools paint that map for you, and help to show the market trends and understand buyer behavior. So I think it's a great tool to use and definitely needs to be implemented more.
Yeah. So I think when you discuss the key strategies, I want to come back on the partner marketing platform, because I think we still need to clarify a lot of things in terms of what are the best practices to implement such platforms, and when exactly do vendors need it, and what are the key benefits of having such platforms. So I think I would like to open the floor for Travis, then Mariah, you can jump in.
Yeah, so I mean, when looking for a partner marketing platform, you first want to know that your partner program is mature enough to be able to facilitate that. So, do you have enough partners for it to be valuable to invest in a partner marketing platform? And then from there, just making sure that you're getting that partner buy-in. One of the big things we see is they make the prettiest, best looking, platform dashboard that you can have. But then they roll it out and there's no strategy for actually activating those partners, enabling those partners, engaging those partners. So I'd say making sure you have a strategy in the forefront for how you're going to execute is extremely important, because you don't want to be the person that has the prettiest dashboard, but then no execution strategy.
True. So, Mariah, I want to come back to you to understand what are the key metrics that vendors should be considering when they have implemented a partner marketing platform. So, on an ongoing basis, what are the key metrics when it comes to partner marketing that they should be monitoring on a monthly or quarterly basis?
Well, definitely it's going to be the engagement of your partners. Are your partners using this platform, right? Like Travis said, you can have the prettiest dashboard, but if nobody's using it, what's the point? Right? So that's some real-time data that can come in. It can also be what type of campaigns are they executing? Are they executing more email blasts? Are they executing more paid media? Are they executing more events?
Yeah.
Right? And then out of those campaigns that they're running or those activations, what are the most successful? Right? And what can you as a partner help to fund in order to make them, bigger, better, and in the end get more opportunities? So I definitely think that can help with those real-time insights as well.
And in terms of selecting different channels, do you see, is it the email channel is the most utilized one by vendors? Or do you also see other channels like SMS or WhatsApp is getting traction, or also being into considered by vendors?
I definitely think it's regional. So for example, MarketLogic is global. We work a lot with North America, Latin America, and we do have presence in Europe and APAC as well. But for example, North America, if you're sending SMNs or you're sending a WhatsApp, not a lot of people have WhatsApp downloaded. Some do, especially if they travel a lot for work, but for the most part they don't, or people ignore their text messages. So you see more email blasts going through, or straight up cold calling. I know a lot of people have different feelings about that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to countries like Latin America or Europe, where WhatsApp or SMS is more used, you see those better strategies being implemented. Right. So I think it all depends on the region that you're targeting.
Yeah, I would just want to call out one thing, because if you talk about SMS and take into consideration in our own partner marketing campaign, the open rate for SMS is way higher than the email. So because SMS is the one platform where all of us utilize for critical information, for example, banking, your shopping information. So this is one thing I want to give as food for thought for all the partner marketers out there, especially consider into their demand gen strategies. And I think you talked about WhatsApp. So in APAC region, I'm also having a lot of discussion with partner marketing folks. So APAC is heavily utilized from WhatsApp perspective. They use less email form. They use WhatsApp more for all their B2B messaging or their key information that they want to gain from vendors. So I think these two channels are underutilized at the moment in our industry, which I think could be a new way of penetrating to a new market and expanding our market reach.
No, definitely, I agree.
Yeah. So now we are approaching to an end, Mariah, Travis. So to you, Mariah, before we wrap up, what are the top 3 things you want to give away to our audience?
So the top 3 things are going to be, one, listen to your partners, right? I think that's the most important thing. What are they saying? What's successful? What's not working? Right? And how can you better enhance that with their storytelling when selling your solution? Because at the end of the day, we're selling solutions, not products, right? Number 2 is going to be making it simpler. You make something that streamlines the information, whether it's a PRM if you have the size big enough for it, or it's just hiring another, partner manager to come in and create that constant communication, but definitely staying top of mind. And then number 3 is just going to be implementing outside resources if needed. Like Travis said, kind of drop the pride, bring in other people if you need help. It's okay. You don't have to sign a contract with a third-party agency. You can do a project by project basis and just kind of get that additional resources to provide to your partners if you're not able to already.
Awesome. Great insights, Mariah. Thank you so much for joining in. Thanks, Travis, as well. And thanks to everyone who stayed with us during the conversation. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Perfect. Thank you, Akash. Thanks, Travis.